Round like a circle in a spiral, like a wheel within a wheel, never ending or beginning, like the circles that you find in the windmills of your mind.
Visit StogieGeeks.com/Debonaire for a list of retailers who carry Debonaire cigars. Buy some today and get a little more Debonaire. Welcome back, everyone, to the Stogie Geeks Show. This is our Debonaire Ideal segment. For this evening, we're going to talk about Oktoberfest, cigars, and beer, including some of my recommendations on pumpkin beer and how to make the best glass of pumpkin beer on the planet.
Pumpkin beer.
Are you not into pumpkin beer, Will?
I'm not into pumpkin.
No. Oh, you don't. You're one of those anti-pumpkin people.
I'm like the Halloween Scrooge, I think.
See, I'm the complete opposite. Complete opposite.
I mean, Paul, has the Acidorian Halloween decorating begun? I mean, because that's a big thing.
It is.
At the Acidorian household. Has it started yet?
Yeah, a week or two ago, there was a tree in the front of my house that has all body parts, fake.
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that's
hanging.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, with lights on it. It's the neighbors stay away, which is nice. If there's any kind of crime in the neighborhood, they definitely skip over my house. There's like a chainsaw with blood hanging from the tree. It's a fake chainsaw, but I want to run my real chainsaw like behind the tree, like during Halloween. I think that'd be awesome. But yeah, I love Halloween, and I love pumpkin too. I do think that pumpkin can be overdone. Like, I don't want a pumpkin cigar. I don't do the pumpkin latte thing. I have a friend that really wants us to make pumpkin martinis. She thinks that sounds awesome. My good friend Jack Daniel, his name's actually Jack Daniel. He taught me a lot about bartending, coincidentally enough.
Makes sense.
He was making fun of the pumpkin martini. I'm like, I would try, if it's too sweet, I don't know. But like pumpkin lattes, I think you can take pumpkin over the top. I did eat some pumpkin ice cream, and it was very good. And I do like pumpkin beer. Now,
I do like pumpkin ice cream. I'll give you that.
Pumpkin ice cream is good, right?
Yeah. And by the way, there is a pumpkin cigar that you should try. It's made by CAO. It's called the Rider's Revenge. And I think you will be surprised with that.
Interesting.
As I was. It was actually very, very good. They came out with it last year.
Yeah.
Was it infused? What did they do?
It was infused, but I actually liked it. I was surprised how much I liked it.
Did they lay the tobacco inside of a pumpkin?
It had that pumpkin spice flavor, but it wasn't overpowering.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole key, really, with any kind of flavoring. It really, when we talk about blending a cigar in general, right, is to not make sure that none of the flavors or tastes are overpowering everything else. And I think that's the problem that people have with infusion and with specifically a pumpkin flavoring. And when we start talking about beer, I find that the sugary component is way too high on a lot of the pumpkin beers. However, Dogfish Head, which is one of my favorite breweries. You sound like you're a beer guy, Chris. So Dogfish Head is one of my favorite ones in Delaware. They're based out of Delaware. They weren't distributing in Rhode Island for a while.
They're in Connecticut, so I've had it.
That's awesome. The Punkin, it's Punkin, is their pumpkin beer. I find it's pretty light in terms of, I mean, you can't drink like a whole 4-pack. I mean, you could, but it's a little heavy for that. But it's not off the top on the sweetness level. It just has some nice pumpkin flavor.
Well, they're known for their alcohol content, too. They're usually pretty strong.
Yeah, they're usually pretty high in alcohol
content.
Pretty high, so. Yeah. So that's my recommendation for a pumpkin beer. My wife really likes pumpkin beer, and a lot of times we have it in the house, and I'll try it, and we'll try different ones, and she'll say, I like this one better than the other one. And I ordered the pumpkin, and I let her taste it. She's like, oh, nope, that one's the best. So that's what we stocked in the house recently. And my wife is the one who really got me into all this. She loves the sugar rim at the top, and she had it when we were at restaurants, and she's like, we have to make this at home. So being the resident, like, bartender person, I'm like, all right, I gotta figure out how to make a sugar rim, right? It's actually pretty easy. I take the caramel syrup, and I cut it with a little bit of water, because if it's just the caramel syrup, it's too thick to really do anything with, in my opinion. So I cut it with a little bit of water, and I put it in one of those like squirt bottle things. I actually keep Those they look like the like old school ketchup and mustard bottles that look like the squirt things.
Right.
They sell those. They're just clear. So I mix up all different kinds of sugar. Sometimes I'll do like olive juice for dirty martinis. And I'll keep them in those in the refrigerator. So I mix one up with some caramel. It's just caramel syrup in water. I squirt that in a little bowl. And then you take the top of the glass and you twist it in the liquid so it gets a rim around the top. Then you take just regular sugar, any kind of granulated sugar, and I mix it with pumpkin pie spice and cinnamon. And you'll have to play with the mixture. Like sometimes there'll be too much sugar, sometimes there'll be too much. If there's too much cinnamon or pumpkin spice, it actually tastes very bitter. So you actually kind of have to blend your own until you get it to where you want. I kind of just like taste it and then mix until I get it where I want. So then you take that glass and you turn it in that sugar, pumpkin spice, and cinnamon mixture, and that gives you the rim on the top. I actually like it. I mean, I don't drink them all the time, but this time of year, at least a couple times a week, I like to enjoy one. It's really good.
I think anything like that, like you said, it's not something you're going to have all the time. So
yeah, it's a seasonal kind
part
of
the
thing.
process
it's
too. You're doing the whole thing, and
Yeah.
it's the time of year. So
it's a way to enjoy fall. Yeah,
Sure,
we only
sure.
do them when the pumpkin beers come out. So it's really good. I think it would go really well with a cigar. I think the flavors are good, just like sweet enough. And like I said, you can adjust the mixture and make it a little more sweet, a little more bitter, so you can adjust it how you like it. So that's my recommendation, Will, for fall beers. It's not necessarily a traditional Oktoberfest. I did have the Weinheitsstefaner. Is that how you say that? The German beer? Weinheitsstefaner? Something like that. If I'm saying that wrong, I apologize to our German listeners. But they have that seasonal Oktoberfest beer. And I had that when we were at a local brew pub. Actually, Muse Tavern here in Rhode Island has been here forever. And they have the 100 beers on tap. But they've done that before beer was like a really popular thing. That was like the mecca for all beer people because it was the only place that had over 200 bottled beers and over 150 on tap or something ridiculous like that. They had the seasonal Weinheitsstefaner Oktoberfest, which is awesome. And that only comes out once a year, right? Because they have to brew it at a certain time of year. It's about when the ingredients are available and the climate is right to brew that. Can anyone back me up on that? It's something like that. Will. And it's only ready in October, which is why they call it Oktoberfest.
Okay.
There's something like. I'm sure people that remember more or more into beer than I am right now will correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the way I understand it. Why it's called Oktoberfest, and that one was really good.
So I have one small beer story if you want to hear it.
Yep.
So as you know, I work with Phil Zangi, and he's the tobacco alchemist. So it's a pretty limited rare beer is Heady Topper.
Yes.
So obviously I like it. Or Vermont. It's Vermont. And they only sell it within like 50-mile radius of where they.
And there's like a huge line to get that.
It's crazy. So, but it's called the Alchemist. I think it's the Alchemist Vermont or the Alchemist Brewery. So it's kind of neat that it has my name and it has Alchemist, which is Phil. So it's kind of a good mix. So I actually.
And it's an IPA.
Double IPA, yeah. And it's
But it's a very light IPA. I think I've had it once. And it was a lot of IPAs, like they just hop it to death, and that's all you're tasting is the hoppiness. This was very well balanced.
No, it got the Beer Advocate gave it. I mean, it got a crazy rating. It went like the number one.
One of the highest rated.
It's one of the highest rated beers in the world. So it's neat though. I did have I have a sister who lives in Vermont, so she
waited in line.
She waited in line. Actually, the funny story, she showed up at a store that they have a schedule for the whole week.
And it goes to stores.
It goes to stores.
Yeah.
So and there's like 3 or 4 stores that'll actually sell a case.
Mm-hmm.
So my sister actually showed up at the store was supposed to open at 8, and she was there at 5 of 8 or 10 of 8. There was 3 cars in the parking lot, all had Pennsylvania license plates, and the guys were sitting in their lawn chairs drinking already, waiting. So it's about 10 after 8, and my sister says, "Hey guys, doesn't it open at 8?" And they said, "Oh no, it doesn't open until 10." So they were already in line drinking at 8 a.m. So when they make the deliveries to the store, it lasts like 2 hours in the store.
Yeah,
it's
and
crazy.
you're limited usually to how much.
You're usually limited. Yeah. So yeah, I think I had a couple cases for the first couple of events. So I owe you a couple. I ran out at the last events, but
that's awesome.
In any event, it was.
Yeah, it is fantastic beer. Will, have you ever had a Heady Topper beer?
Yeah. Yep.
It's really good.
I mean, they don't need any more publicity because it literally sells out everywhere as it goes. But it's a neat beer. So
absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Will, did you have more on cigars and beer?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because there's a debate, and we've had this debate on the show, is if cigars and beer actually do pair together well. And I know some companies have done it, and they've done it successfully, like, Manuel Casada with the Oktoberfest. They've done that.
Mm-hmm.
And, Nick Perdomo's come out with a line of cigars that go with beer. But you remember when we did those beers with the CAO cigars?
Yes.
And, we were surprised, too. Like especially with an IPA, you would think that would never go with a beer.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually did.
I think it depends on the kind of IPA. Not all IPAs are created equally. And CAO actually sent us 4 different cigars.
Yep.
And made specific pairings for each one with beer. So you had to pair a specific beer with a specific cigar. And we all tried the different combinations. I think I had a Connecticut with some kind of blonde ale or something or an IPA, and it actually went together wonderfully. Yeah. So whoever put those pairings together knocked it out of the park.
Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to my friend Todd Johnson, who's on vacation from Union Cigars. Hey, Todd, just saying hello. Yeah, we have a lot of people in actually the Facebook Live room tonight. So
excellent.
We have a comment that says best beer with a cigar from Tor Campbell, a cold beer.
Yes,
I agree with that. I really agree with that. I think a warm beer just does not go with a cigar.
No, because the warmer the beer, and I know a lot of in my experience, and again, we used to be very much into beer. Lager beers, because of the way they're brewed in the process, are stored colder and should be enjoyed very cold. A lot of the like Belgian beers or Trappist beers are ales, and ales it's a warmer climate that they're brewing and fermenting warmer. They kept the beer warmer in the process when they brew the ale, and therefore should be served at not quite refrigerator temperature. So typically your refrigerator is anywhere 35 to 38. I find that ales do better at between 40 and 45, just slightly chilled. It's kind of like wine is the same kind of thing. Like a red wine, you want chilled at a specific temperature, and that depends on the different types of wine, whereas a white wine, you want to chill it a little more. And when you buy wine refrigerators, they're very much like cigar people. The environment has to be perfect for the product that they're going to consume. Our humidors, we like to keep certain cigars, maybe a little more humidity, less humidity. Same thing with temperature when it comes to wine and beer. So I find that a warmer ale, it gives almost the flavors are more pungent. You experience the flavors a lot more, and I find that can get in the way and be a little more overpowering when you're pairing it with a cigar. A nice cold lager is really light, and it oftentimes doesn't impede on the enjoyment of the cigar. So
yeah, Bob Dog says ale should be at 42.
42.
Yep.
See, I was close. I said between 40 and 45.
Yeah. Yep.
It's all come back to me.
I got one last comment. I've been drinking these Cigar City Brewing beers. I'm drinking a Maduro Brown Ale, and this is from my buddy Joe Schmo, who gave me this. Thanks, Joe. I tell you what, this is a beer. I'm not smoking a Maduro right now, so I'm breaking the rule, but this is a really good pairing beer with any cigar.
Yeah, I think the brown ales do pair very well with cigars, from what I remember. Yeah. And I'm not a huge fan of brown ale, and I forget the whole process why they call it that. I think Newcastle is a brown ale, and that's from actually a town in the UK. I know someone that lives right outside there, and I'm not just a brown ale fan, but if you get a good one, it's not the flavors tend to meld pretty well with a cigar.
I've had that Maduro. Will it's actually I thought it was pretty good. I'm not.
It really is. I mean, I could drink this standalone, but and I'm not as big the beer guy as maybe Paul's probably a bigger beer guy than me, but this is great. I agree, Chris.
And beer can be aged too, just like cigars. I had that Trappist ale. I can't think of the name of it. Chimay. Thank you. Chimay comes in the different colors and the different kind of flavors of it. It's a Trappist ale, a Belgian Trappist ale. And that's probably one of my favorite beers, Will. And I like it because you can age it. So I actually put that a bottle of it, the big bottle, with a cork on it and put that in the wine fridge and let that sit for like a year and then break it out. And I find it really mellows it out, smooths it out, and you get more flavor out of it. And that would pair very well with a cigar as well. I had one of those bottles recently. I like found it in the wine fridge. I'm like, oh, it's been there for about a year. That's time to break that open. That was good.
Yep.
We've largely switched to cocktails and scotch and whiskey, but I still do enjoy beer, even with a cigar. Anything else on cigars and beer, Will?
I think I covered everything.
Okay.
I mean, obviously it's big beer month. Everyone enjoy your beer and enjoy your cigars.
Absolutely. And, football season, it's a great time to have a nice October is really, for me, like when football season comes about, when Tom Brady just crushes the competition, because I know everyone's a Tom Brady fan. Maybe just.
How about those New York Giants yesterday?
New York who? Oh. So
the team that beat the New England Patriots like in 2 Super Bowls, I might add. Yeah.
Wow. So October is a great time because football's in full swing. You get in there on Sunday afternoon, you have a nice beer, have a cigar. I think it all kind of goes together. It's an experience.
It is. It is. It definitely is. I totally agree with it.
All right. So do we need to run? We need to take a short commercial break.
Short commercial break, then we go right into Unbanded.
That's correct. So we're going to do that. Sorry, guys, I didn't give you a heads up on that, but that's what we're going to do. So stay tuned.
Duran Premium Cigars, one of the fastest growing boutique cigar companies, providing smokers a portal into the old Cuban tradition of perfect balance and the lost art of progressive flavor construction. Roberto Pelayo Duran began his career in tobacco over 2 decades ago in Havana, where his reputation grew within Cuban circles. The creation of Duran Premium Cigars has given Roberto the platform to introduce a series of cigars that offer the same quality, construction, and detail which he perfected while in Cuba. Brands include the ultra-premium Roberto P. Duran Premium Cigar Series, Azan Cigars, Nea, and Baracoa. Duran Cigars uses a seed-to-humidor approach, as all tobacco is grown on their farms and rolled in their factory in Esteli, Nicaragua. Rollers have been carefully chosen to carry out Roberto's precise method to ensure progressive flavor in each cigar. Duran Cigars invites you to make their premium your standard. Experience the world through the eyes of an icon with the new Macanudo Inspirado line. Created for a global palate, Macanudo Inspirado defies convention. Handcrafted with the world's finest tobaccos, Inspirado delivers a unique international smoking experience. Find Inspirado Orange at fine tobaccos everywhere, and Inspirado Black online and in your favorite catalogs. Ready to be inspired? Check out Macanudo Inspirado now at macanudo.com. CAO has brought you iconic cigars over the years. Brasilia, Italia, La Traviata, done in a playful nature with a unique twist. Travel to the exciting world of CAO and back in just under an hour with any of the groundbreaking CAO World Blends. Test the boundaries of style with new age brands in the 95 rated Flathead. Honor the past with new classics like Pilon. Treat your palate to an array of flavors with Soulfire and Moon Trance. At CAO, the experiences are limitless. So what's your next move?
Hey, Paul, what's up?
What's up, Mark?
Did you hear about the new cigar that's coming out?
Which one is that? There's like 800 new ones every week.
The one with the Connecticut broadleaf wrapper.
Oh, really? I love Connecticut broadleaf. Who makes it?
I think it's Nicaraguan.
So Nicaraguan binder and filler, or it's made in a factory in Nicaragua?
I always have to Google these, and it's taking me like an hour to find out what it is.
If this is a frequent conversation with your cigar buddies, look no further than Stogie Geeks News, the only cigar news podcast on the internet. Will Cooper, the man behind Cigar-Coop.com, and Paul Asadorian from the Stogie Geeks produce a weekly show covering the latest cigar news, new blends, cigar manufacturer announcements, and more. Subscribe to the video version on YouTube or get the audio version in your favorite podcast catcher. Head on over to stogienews.tv to subscribe today.
Hey, we're back. Welcome to the Stogie Geek Show Unbanded edition number 304. This is where Will and I blind smoke a cigar. Essentially, the bands have been taken off. Will and I have no idea what we're smoking. We smoke it, we compare notes, and then we do the reveal. So already, people are probably wondering, what did you smoke? What did you think of it? and are like waiting with the reveal. And I promise that we will tease you until the very end, so that you're on the edge of your seats.
Yeah, that's our teaser journalism we'll do here.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, Will, we smoked it was a Toro-ish size cigar. I think I smoked it before Mark was able to take a picture of it. I apologize. I told him he could take a picture of the ashes, but that wouldn't necessarily do the cigar much justice. But this was a Toro-ish size cigar, I would say, Will?
Toro-ish with a slight Cuban press to it.
Yeah, there was a slight press to it. Almost like it had been packed in the box a little tighter than it should have, and it kind of got a little pressed from that. Well, I guess that's what they call it, box press, but box press really isn't. The box press that we call it today is from an actual press when they're, pressing the cigars with molds, not from being in the box.
Yeah. Especially you look at those factory presses, for example. Those are like ultimate box presses. They're literally squared.
Yeah, it's more like a square press than a box. This was just a slight press. It was a dark, kind of rustic-looking wrapper, I would say, Will.
Yep.
It wasn't the pretty.
It looked like a sun-grown wrapper to me.
Yeah, it wasn't the prettiest-looking wrapper. I got some like wood and sweetness, off the dry draw in the foot. The wrapper I didn't get anything off of. When I sipped the foot, it was pretty pleasant. It didn't have that like heavy barnyard or heavy flavors. It smelled like, a little bit of wood, maybe a little bit of like sweetness, cinnamon kind of off the foot.
Yeah. It definitely, it's a cigar. I'd say it's a medium. I don't think it's going to go beyond medium in terms of strength or body. It's not going to overpower you. It's a cigar you can give to anybody. Slight amount of spice, but nothing over the top. It seemed to have very much a Nicaraguan taste to it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I thought it had an interesting balance of some nice sweetness with a little bit of spice, like you said.
Yep.
But it had this other component to it, Will. I want to call it like a mineral or herbal kind of component to it. Yep. It was in that family, somewhere in the mineral herbal.
More of a mineral, it seemed like to me.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to talk about an herbal cigar in a little bit, but this one was more minimal.
It wasn't bad. I don't mean mineral in like a derogatory way, but it was very kind of heavy on that mineral, almost a little bit of herbal, coupled with the sweetness. Now the sweetness was very nice. It just didn't seem to like come together. Those two flavors didn't come together for me. I thought they were good kind of on their own if you could pick them out, but like together, it kind of seemed like it was fighting. They were fighting with each other a little bit.
See, I'll disagree with you on that one. I think this cigar actually had some pretty good balance to it. And it kind of countered it a bit. Now, I can see the argument saying you don't like the way the two flavors played together. But in terms of the sweetness versus some of those other flavors to balance out it from being too sweet, I could see what was going with this cigar. But I think it's a personal preference thing with that.
Yeah. It is a personal preference, And again, I thought those two flavors were fighting it for me on the palate. I do think that with time, this cigar would change. It would probably become more balanced.
Yep.
Those flavors might meld together a little as the cigar aged and kind of smooth it out.
Did you think it was young? Because I thought it had some age on this thing.
No, but that mineral component to me, it did feel, I don't know, I wouldn't call it young, but it was in the flavor profile that you would get from a young cigar. For me, that other kind of flavor, which obviously I wasn't a huge fan of that other flavor.
Okay.
I did like the sweetness component to it.
See, sometimes I'm the opposite. When it has too much sweetness, I will say young. When it has too much sweetness of spice, and when it doesn't have that, so I kind of thought this had a little time to it. Was my opinion on it. But I'm smoking it now, so
yeah,
I'll say you might have had it. Like I said, the funny thing is I don't look at these cigars. My son, who works at Union Cigar, he kind of sources these. He does all the banding, and he literally keeps them with him until, like I said, the day when I smoke it. So I had not. The long story is I didn't get it. We didn't living in the same house. Go figure. We didn't connect.
Yeah, that happens sometimes. So my rating was probably between a try one and a 5. if the cigar did have age, I'd be curious to see what it would do with more age. If it would kind of balance out those two flavors, or those two flavors would change a bit with some age. But I didn't think it was bad by any stretch.
I gave it a 5. I thought it was solid. I'm liking it. I think I can look at this cigar and have a guess of what it could be, though. But the flavors aren't necessarily matching it.
Yeah, I have no idea what it could be.
I'm thinking Flor de Santillas. But I'm looking at it. The flavors don't necessarily match that.
Yeah, no, the flavors don't matter. That has a little bit of an earthiness component, which I didn't get from this cigar.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of saying that. Normally I get a little more earthiness on that as opposed to that mineral taste, which we are both getting.
Right. I really thought this could have been, based on the flavors that I got and the strength profile, something from the Davidoff portfolio.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't think it was all Nicaraguan. I got like almost like a little bit more of a Dominican kind of feel. I kind of feel like there was maybe mixed. And maybe that's because I smoked the Davidoff Yamasa and some of the other newer releases from Davidoff, and that flavor, I'm trying to pull those flavors out of other cigars that I smoke. But I kind of thought it was more like a Davidoff offering of some kind.
See that the mineral component, usually I associate it with Pennsylvania broadleaf in the filler.
Interesting.
That's usually what I associate it with, which is why I'm kind of saying, look at the cigar, it just doesn't fit it.
Well, let's see what it was. I have the envelope right here, Will.
I got it too.
You also have the envelope. We're going to simultaneously open the envelope and do the reveal. Oh, wow.
Well, I never would have got this.
Wow, this is the Monte from Monte Cristo.
This is the Monte? Wow. I would have never got this.
It's interesting. Now we have to look the blend up, or you probably know the blend off the top of your head.
No, I don't. But it's
it is Dominican, right?
It's Dominican. It should be.
Yeah.
Wow. I was now I haven't smoked this in a while. But that one surprised me.
This is
I was looking at that
Ecuadorian Habano wrapper.
Yep.
That's all I can get right now. Binder is Dominican, Nicaraguan, and the filler's Dominican.
You kind of called that one, Paul. You were definitely
I was at least closer than you were on that one, but that's not to say picking out what a blended cigar is not. There's no art or science behind it that's going to lead you to the right answer the majority of the time. It's really just luck that plays into to guessing, or if some visual cues can lead you in the right direction. So.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this size had a pigtail on it, though. It was the only thing I was wondering. It's a 5.5 by 48, but I thought it may have fallen off the pigtail. Did yours have a pigtail?
Mine did not have a pigtail.
Okay, because this is the Condi, I think. Which, again, going back to what you said, Paul, that's a rounded cigar that did get kind of squished. So, I mean, that's probably what happened.
Right.
That's a rounded cigar. The only box press in the Monty line is the belly, which is the number 2.
So which one was this one now? The Toro 6 by 52.
No, this one says 5.5. Is there a 6 by 52 they have on that size?
Oh, there is a number 2 box pressed 6.1 by 54.
Yeah.
Is a box pressed Toro.
There's a Condi, which is a 5.5 by 48.
Yeah, there is a 5.5 by 48 as well. So the next challenge for your son is to put the full blend information with the size and everything in there.
Yeah,
so we can read that. It takes time. I know we've been doing the blind reviews on and off on this show since the beginning.
Yeah.
And it is challenging to instill some knowledge on someone else to be able to determine all of that stuff about the cigar. It's a process. So.
Well, we have a full repository. All these blends should be pretty much easy to find.
Yes. Yes, we do.
We'll keep
cool.
Busy. Yeah.
So that was Unbanded number 304. Stay tuned for more Unbandeds coming up on future Stogie Geeks episodes. Right now, we're going to take a short break, come back, and do our Stogies of the Week, so stay tuned.